Hi, everybody. Today, we are going to talk about how to break free from things that are holding you back. One of the best ways to overcome a mindset that's holding you back is to get out of your comfort zone. Many times, our comfort zones can become something that isn't good for us, isn't serving us, and could even be damaging our happiness in life. This type of comfort zone usually originates from a self-limiting belief, some belief you have about yourself that isn't positive and is actually hurting you in some ways, oftentimes. This is the I Care About You podcast, and I'm Juliana J. Bruno. Today, we get out of our rut and into a new way of being. Please like and subscribe. It really, really helps. So what do I mean here? How do self-limiting beliefs show up in your comfort zone? I mean that, say you generally feel like you're ugly. Your comfort zone will reflect that internal belief that you have about yourself. For example, you may never wear a bathing suit because you feel like you're ugly. I certainly went through this totally throughout the majority of my life, and even now it's challenging to put on a bathing suit. Not wearing the bathing suit leads to not being able to go to pool parties or the beach or a lake, to always feeling like, wow, I really want to do that fun thing, but now I have to wear a bathing suit and that's limiting. So I show up in long pants and a t-shirt or something like that, and I sit on a lawn chair the whole time. It means you miss out on the bonding experiences with your friends and family and fun for yourself because your comfort zone is never wearing a bathing suit and always wearing these other types of clothing. Your comfort zone is always there, sort of, it's a comfort, right? So you're wearing the same thing, you're doing the same thing, you're going to the same places. It can be very limiting at times if you allow it. Say you feel unworthy. You may not go for a promotion or a better job. You may not go out on a limb and ask people to hang out with you or out on a date or anything like that. You may always settle or be the person who does everything for everybody else, hoping to get some sort of validation. Or you could be someone who is so disenfranchised, they do nothing, and people are always kind of perturbed by them. So these self-limiting beliefs are dictating how you show up in the world and what you decide to do or not do. Whatever it is, your internal beliefs are playing a role in your comfort zone, and your comfort zone is holding you back. How do you know this is true? Let's test it. What are your internal beliefs? Sometimes they're hidden, so let's explore, and when you think you know, write it down. So here's what you do. Think about a worry that you have. Maybe I worry about making money and having enough money. Ask yourself, is that really all there is, or is there more? And answer truly to yourself. Maybe you say to yourself, well, I actually feel unsafe at work. Like my job will be taken away from me at any time. And ask yourself, well, why do you feel that way? Maybe you feel that way because you're not sure if you're smart enough. Well, why do you think that? Because I had a learning disability in school and I was held back. My internal belief is that I'm not smart enough. So you just kind of start with this worry and dig deep into it. Why do I have this worry? Why do I feel that way about this worry? Where is that coming from? And when you get down to what you think it actually is, write it down. I'm not smart enough in this example. Ask yourself, how is that showing up in your comfort zone? Maybe you never take a risk. Maybe you never ask for promotion or raise. Maybe you always work over your contracted hours, or maybe you take too many tasks on and volunteer for too many things just to prove that you're smart. Maybe you do nothing at all and you're perceived as an underachiever. Maybe you lack motivation at work, or you goof off all the time so that you can show off other talents. You know, in your mind, you're thinking, well, I'm really funny, so it makes up for not being smart. These are all extreme generalizations, of course. But really, how is your limiting belief showing up in your comfort zone? What are you doing or not doing to support that belief to yourself? You're always kind of proving that internal belief to the outside world and to yourself, even if you're aware that the internal belief is not good for you. Getting out of your comfort zone is how you can take small steps to redirect and change that internal belief. And how do you do that? We all have many comfort zones or internal beliefs that dictate our actions and beliefs. We are not one-dimensional creatures. So many things apply. But if you want to work on one belief, getting out of your comfort zone can really help. Now, I'm not talking about physical or mental issues that you have already understood and are working on. I am talking about your internal beliefs that you have. And this exercise isn't to justify your bad behavior by any means. It's genuinely to examine self limiting beliefs and the actions you take to support those beliefs. So, if your self limiting belief is that you're not smart enough, what are some things you can do to get out of your comfort zone that prove to yourself that you're smarter than you think? Oftentimes, once you've defined what you're doing to prove that you're not smart, you can flip those things and do that. Like if you're never doing new things, like you're never learning new things because you don't think you're smart enough to learn new things, sign up for the free watercolor class on Saturday at your local community center or something like that. A small step. Now that you have identified a self-limiting belief, ask yourself, what do I do to support this belief? It might be, I never offer opinion at work. I never offer an answer if somebody asks. I want to be a writer, but I'm not smart enough to write a blog, so I never do. Some people might limit things like no one else will see or know just to prove to themselves. So they will actually, their comfort zone has to do with things that nobody else will see but you, yet you do it to prove your comfort zone to yourself, such as I never write in a journal because I'm not smart enough. I never learned grammar. Or I never look in a mirror to myself because I'm ugly. And if I see myself, I'll be grossed out. Like I never do any type of sports because I wasn't good at it in school. Even singular sports like running or walking or doing something that just involves you as a person. Who cares? No one cares about these things that no one else sees but you. So why are you working so hard to prove to yourself this limiting belief that you have? Some people struggle to make simple choices because they think they're not smart. They can't decide on what restaurant to go to or even what food to order, even if they are doing that by themselves. You're just getting your own to-go food. You can't decide what you want because you're proving to yourself that you're not smart. And that's the comfort zone that you have created, is just proving to yourself over and over and over again, whether it's out in the world or only to yourself. Okay, so you have your limiting belief identified. Write it down and the actions that you do normally to support the belief. What is your current comfort zone? Say it's to never choose a place to go when going out with friends. Decide that you will make a suggestion next time you go out. So this is what I was talking about, looking at your comfort zone and then flipping those things to the other side. If you never make a choice because you don't think you're smart enough and no one's going to like your choice, make a choice next time. So you've stepped out of your comfort zone of being silent. You've made a suggestion. Tell yourself beforehand that if your choice isn't picked, it isn't because you're dumb or you gave a stupid idea, but rather it just wasn't picked at that time, like which happens to probably all the other friends when you're trying to decide where to go. Everyone makes a suggestion and only one suggestion is chosen. Continue to do small things to support the different self-image, and little by little, those uncomfortable things will become more natural to you. And you can then do bigger uncomfortable things if you want to, or over time, you'll realize that you've let go of that limiting belief or you've dampened it quite a lot. For example, if you have a limiting belief that no one wants to know you, perhaps that is manifested in shyness. Try smiling at folks when you walk down the street or making eye contact with people as you go about your day. It will be uncomfortable at first, but if you keep doing it, it will become a new comfort zone and it will help you to shift your negative self-views into something more neutral or positive. I definitely had this. I was super shy as a kid. I only knew the adults by their hands because I never looked them in the face. That's how I knew who everyone was. I was so incredibly shy. If someone came over to my house, I would hide under the bed when I was a little kid and wait for them to leave, even if it was a family member. And I had to really work hard at making eye contact with people and smiling at people and just giving people cues, physical cues that I was paying attention to them and listening to them and all of that. And I really shifted that over time. And now I don't have that problem at all, but it only took getting out of my comfort zone and my internal belief just naturally changed without much effort. As with all things, you can't expect 100% success. You'll have drawbacks. Maybe someone makes fun of you for your lunch selection or that you said hi to strangers on the street. Notice that your old reaction, maybe it's a feeling of shame, creeps up when that happens. Then think to yourself, no, I like who I am. I like that I got out of my comfort zone and ordered this lunch or said hi to that person. I am proud that I was brave enough to get out of my comfort zone. Flip that internal dialogue on yourself so that if someone makes fun of you, you don't immediately go to that feeling of shame and, yes, yes, of course, I'm too dumb to make decisions. Go back to that limiting belief. No, that's your comfort zone to go to that space. Your new comfort zone is to just realize that I like who I am. And if I ordered this funny thing for lunch, that's fine. I'm proud that I was brave enough to do that and experiment with this, even if I don't like this new thing I ordered at lunch. At least I was brave enough to try. And then realize that the person who is making fun of you is just not being supportive in that moment. And maybe it's because they're out of their comfort zone by being supportive, or they would never order that because they too have similar feelings to you. And you've touched a nerve there by just doing something for yourself. It's okay. You can still move through that and do that. Just realize that changing your comfort zone is multi-level. It's not only just doing the new thing, but it's changing that internal dialogue when you do the new thing and you get any kind of pushback or you get accolades for it. A lot of us, especially those of us whose internal belief is that we're not worthy, when we get somebody praising us or giving us a compliment, we can't receive it. Our internal dialogue immediately is, oh, they don't really think I did the right thing, or they don't really think I'm smart enough to do that, or those types of things. And you have to realize that underlayer of your own internal dialogue once you step out of your comfort zone is going to come. And then how are you going to shift that comfort zone of self-deprecating talk? How are you going to flip that? So it's kind of multi-level there, right? You're identifying what your limiting belief is. You're stepping out of your comfort zone to support a new belief. And then you're realizing that your internal dialogue also, you need to step out of your comfort zone and create new positive internal dialogue for yourself after you step out of your comfort zone and throughout the day. Whenever you find yourself back in that space of shame or negative self-talk, shift it because that's a comfort zone too. And you can just shift it simply by saying, you're enough, you matter, you are loved, whatever it is that you need to say. Here are some small ways you can step out of your comfort zone just a little bit if you need to practice doing that. As I said, you can smile at a stranger anywhere on the street, in the store, wherever, at work. You can make eye contact when you're talking to people, make longer eye contact than you normally would, or more contact than you normally would. Or if you're at the store and you're asking a question, instead of looking at the merchandise, look at the person that's talking to you. Little things like that. Eat something you wouldn't normally eat. Order something you wouldn't normally order. Get a different drink when you go to the coffee house. Don't get your usual. Stop ordering your usual everywhere and start ordering new things. It doesn't mean you can't go back to your usual because, of course, maybe peppermint lattes are your fave and that's your go-to. But every once in a while, order something different. Step out of your comfort zone there. Order different pizza toppings or different crust than you would normally order. Change up your playlist or listen to playlists that you would normally never listen to. Listen to them more than once because the first time you listen to new music, sometimes it's really hard for you to even decide if you like it or not, or maybe you even hate it, but later on it becomes your favorite song. So give that some opportunity, more than one listening. Do something different at night rather than your usual routine. If your usual routine is to eat dinner and watch TV, try doing something else. Like maybe you go for a walk and read a book and while you eat dinner or something of that nature, but change up that routine. When you get in the car to go somewhere, take a different route. If you walk a dog or something like that, get in the car and go to a different neighborhood. Go to a different restaurant than your usual go-to. Doesn't mean, again, you can't go back to your go-to places or do your go-to thing or do that routine, but shift it up a little bit and maybe develop new routines. Read a different genre of books or watch a movie that's outside of your go-to genre. Take a no screen day, that's really hard, or a no news day. Talk to someone on the phone if you usually text, or do the opposite if you normally talk to people on the phone. Try texting. Buy a weird flavor of chapstick you wouldn't normally buy if you buy a chapstick, or maybe it's a different color of lipstick or something of that nature, different earrings you wouldn't normally wear, different jewelry, wear your hair in a different style, buy flowers for yourself or things like that you wouldn't normally do for yourself. That's part of self-care. Sit in nature and just listen. A lot of us never do that. So if that's out of your comfort zone, it might be something you apply. You can set a timer for like 3 minutes and just sit on a park bench and look around. Take a walk somewhere outside of your neighborhood. Talk to somebody you don't normally talk to. Maybe it's a neighbor you've never talked to before or something like that. Clean out your closet or your room and get rid of everything you haven't worn in a year or you haven't used in 2 years. Take pictures of different things than you normally do. I will totally admit the 90% of my pictures are probably my pets. And step out of your comfort zone. Take a picture of a pretty flower that you see or a street scene that you like or something out in nature, a tree or whatnot. Just look at things differently. Go to the nursery and walk around and look at all the flowers and plants, or go somewhere else and do the same. It could be like maybe you go to a store or a street that's really popular with lots of stores and you just look around and see new things, go into stores you don't normally or would never go into. Do something on the weekends that you don't normally do, something small like a walk in the park or a picnic at the beach or something like that. There's a lot of different things you can do that aren't going to break the bank. Once you get comfortable with these small gestures of getting out of your comfort zone, you can take bigger leaps. Like maybe if you're really working on shyness and you've started that making eye contact and saying hi to people and having conversations with folks you don't normally have conversations with, or getting out there and doing things when you're invited to do them, you might take bigger leaps like doing karaoke. Or if you're worried about not being smart enough, you might do a big leap like learning a new skill and really taking a class that's more than an hour or so. Or maybe you've never been comfortable really being out in nature or being by yourself, and your big leap is going camping by yourself or with just one person. You will find it can be really freeing to start doing new things, and it's exciting. And once you kind of get in that getting out of your comfort zone, you just naturally start looking for things that you can get out of your comfort zone just a little bit. Like if you normally only write in a black pen, you might find yourself writing in pink ink 3 or 4 months from now and really liking that. It just opens up a whole new way of looking at the world and looking at your internal beliefs and your self-dialogue and feeling confident that you can do things, that you're brave enough to get out there and do new things. It really helps you with your confidence level if that's also something you're struggling with. So let me know how it goes. The comfort zone's a really hard thing to get out of, so be good to yourself and know that you're going to have setbacks now and again, and that's totally okay. Getting out of your comfort zone and changing your internal dialogue and your internal beliefs takes a little bit of effort. It's 100% worth it, but it's hard sometimes, and I appreciate and admire your bravery to do this for yourself. And you'll be really amazed. I'm so excited for you to try this out and see how it goes. So know that I love you and know that I support you, and you got this. Take care.